This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store Force Direct Out. Delighted to be joined with a former WBO Cruiserweight World Champion, Johnny Nelson, MBE, and also the king of the grass cutters, as we were just talking about there.
You're a kid, man, you don't understand. You get into cutting your grass, you don't understand. It's an art, a fine art, my friend. It's like fine wine.
when I'm owning properties and that, it's all something I take great pride in, as I have always done. I suppose we'll talk about the real, well, boxing's played in a ring, but it's obviously on grass in a football stadium. Chris Billam-Smith takes on Richard Riakporhe for the WBO Cruiserweight World Title, something that you held all them years ago. A massive fight on Saturday night, and even better that it's in the stadium like it was 12 months prior.
It's a great fight Saturday night. First of all, I'm surprised they let us go on the pitch. Usually when we were at a football ground, you can't get off the grass, which made me laugh. But then to have it in South London, it's more or less Richard's backyard. You've got to respect Chris Billam-Smith for actually saying, I'll take it to where you are. That's the responsibility of a champion. You've got to be able to think, I'm going to beat you no matter what country I'm in, whose backyard I'm in. And so Chris is prepared to do that against the only man that's beat him on his record. This is why you've got to respect him, and he's taking the responsibility of a champion well. I also like the bill because it's not just the WBO title fight on the line. There's also a European title fight on the line. Another belt that I had. I think I had it in 1990, and then 7 years later again with Isaac Chamberlain. So I see different stages for fighters coming through different stages. I think for Chris and Richard, Chris is going in there as a champion with a challenger's mentality because Richard's had the better of him. Richard's going in there as a challenger with a complacent mentality. I've done you before, I know you're a better fighter, but I'm also a better fighter too, so we'll do it again. So again, I think it's intriguing. I don't think this fight will be anything like the last thing was. I think both fighters will put on a performance, their best ever performance, because there's too much on the line, there's too much at stake.
You've spoken numerous times about your first world title fight and how you didn't really feel like you was ready for it, and I'm sure you found that out. For Richard, if all this occasion that gets to him, how do you think that he could prepare to make sure that he's ready for it?
Well, I asked him, what's it like, how do you feel? And he had an unbelievable smile on his face. And he's the kind of guy, he's a peacock, man. It's a chance for him to show off. He these kind of things he cherishes, he wants, he aims for. I was a boy in a man's body. This guy has seen somebody he's been become world champion. If that's not going to motivate you to want to show off and perform to the best of your ability in front of your home fans, nothing will.
I did want to talk about that face-off that obviously you was in the middle of. I suppose some questionable things happening. Richard reading out poems, sort of getting his tongue out like as you said, like a salivating hyena. An interesting gloves are off there from the pair of them, I guess. You could say there's a little bit of needle between the pair.
It's professional envyism, should I say. I think Richard is very relaxed and at peace with himself because he's in against somebody he knows he's beaten. Once you know you've beaten somebody, that fear factor's gone, even though there needs to be a bit of nerves there to get the best performance out of yourself. He knows what he's capable of doing. He doesn't think he can beat him. He doesn't hope he can beat him. He knows he can beat him. So therefore, confident-wise, I know I ain't got anything to be scared of because I know what you bring. I know you're a better fighter, but so am I. For Chris was more serious because he thinks you beat me once, but I'm not the same boy you boxed before. I'm a champion now. So I'm serious. I can't afford to be your friend. If you're saying stupid things like, I'm declining, I'll show you. And I understand why Richard said it. I understand Chris's mentality. I respect Chris as a champion. Doing this fight, second fight again, in someone else's backyard, second defence.
Yeah. Overall, a decent card as well at Selhurst Park. Obviously, you mentioned there, Massey Chamberlain, another great fight. Obviously, Frank Hennessy, who's someone you've always sort of taken quite a liking to. So yeah, good card on Saturday night.
I think it's a great fight. I think, again, for European title, love the idea, love the opportunity, love the fact that these fighters are going in there to crash the gateways of European title level, because he wants to be, he wants to get to the gateways. You forget, Isaac Chamberlain originally was a sparring partner for Deontay Wilder before we all know about Deontay Wilder. So this boy, you've got to give it to him. You've got to think, you know what? against Jack Massey. Jack Massey boxed Parker, and so again, Massey will think I'm the bigger guy, I'm the stronger guy. I've been in with bigger guys. But most cruiserweights spar with heavyweights anyway, and they have to deal with them. So again, it's a good, intriguing fight.
Absolutely. I suppose we'll move on. You've seen many great Wembley nights of recent years. AJ Klitschko, AJ Povetkin, Frochgroves 2. It looks like there'll be another one September 21st. Looking like AJ will headline against Daniel Dubois, ahead of a stack card with some of the rumours that the fights are going to be on there. Even boxer fighters like Joshua Boatsi, Fraser Clark also rumoured to be on there. So must be excited to see the return to Wembley Stadium with British boxing.
Yeah, without a doubt. And they don't think this will never happen. These days are done. They're not done. I think what's happening in Saudi Arabia is they're giving great opportunities for fighters. And I know people are worried about fighters getting used to getting paid so much dough. And they think, well, I'm not fighting unless I get paid X, Y, Z. Fighters won't do that. They'll get what they deserve. And I like that. I love that. I love that there's an opportunity to win great money and A beats B and A fights B and B fights C. No nonsense. Forever our sport has been shooting itself in the foot. I think I call it politics, the politics of our sport. So now what's happening in Saudi, they're cutting all that out. They say, no, I'm getting all of you in the same room working together. If you're not going to work together, out. I think in regards to September the 21st, AJ against Dubois, great fight. We've seen Daniel Dubois grow into a man. I think the Hergedich first fight, you thought, there he is. Because I questioned his heart, I questioned his desire. Now he's in there against AJ. He had a chance of either, wait to fight Usyk, for the IBF, or I'll fight AJ. He's gone for the bigger bucks because he thinks he can. I think AJ hits far too correctly, far too hard, and for Daniel it could trouble him, but I think AJ's far too correct. He's been there, won the t-shirt, his experience. And one thing, experience, you can't buy, borrow, pretend to have it. And AJ's got that over Daniel for 97% of his career.
Just wanted to interject on what you made there about the fighters getting paid. Do you think that could potentially affect the landscape of wider boxing, where you see guys who get paid like a lot of money? Could that affect like the domestic side of boxing, the domestic landscape of boxing? Because as we see in football, of how that could get affected.
Yeah, it's like football. Your team's in the lower league, but you want to get promoted to Premier League. So it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. And I actually like that. So therefore the small hall promoters will have their fights, they want to get their fights through, to have a chance again in the Premier League, to go for the big bucks. So I actually like that. And I hope, Turkey will basically say, you know what, to all the governing bodies, you either play ball, or I could just say, whoever wants to be in my league can be in my league, but this is the only league you can be in. You cannot box for the WBO, WBC, IBF, and hopefully all the governing bodies will play ball. But unfortunately in boxing, individuals profit, and historically our game corrects. It attracts the worst and the best in human in nature, and individuals profit. So I just hope that common sense prevails.
Sticking on the topic of heavyweights, I did have to ask you about Tyson Fury. Obviously suffering defeat to Oleksandr Usyk. The rematch is now scheduled. What do you sort of make of the rematch, and with the time frame that it's in? Do you feel like Fury can do enough to turn the tide?
I do. I think he can. I don't think he will, but I think he can. I think he needs to sort his house out. And when I say sort his house out, I mean, he needs to put himself in a position where he's being told, he listens. He's negotiating with you. I don't want to do this today. What about this? He needs to be told. He needs to be guided. But it's hard to do that when you're worth about 300 million and you don't have to do it. So why would I listen to you? You're not. You just get him just above minimum wage. But you've got to want it enough. I think it's going to be hard enough for Tyson Fury to accept the defeat to Oleksandr Usyk, this jumped up gap-toothed middleweight. Historically this should never happen. He's got to get his head around that. The people around him will say, yeah, it's definitely on, and they'll try and talk him into it as much as possible because they benefit as well financially. But in reality, Tyson Fury is a fighter. He's got to get his head in the right place. These people have never been fighters. They don't understand the psyche of a fighter, and they definitely don't understand the psyche of Tyson Fury. They might say, might try and cajole him into doing certain things, but when he makes a decision, that decision's made. Even before the fight, I said, he's got too many people talking shit in his ear, and I stick by it. And until he gets his house cleared out, nothing will change. And as long as Oleksandr Usyk is there, I don't believe Tyson Fury will fight him. If he jumps down to cruiserweight, if he goes off to Hollywood and X, as Usyk's been saying, then we'll see Tyson Fury back. But I think right now it's a great idea. I'm going to do this, but I think reality will kick in. Reality is this: what more can he do? What more can he do? He looked in brilliant condition, best condition we've seen for a while. He stuck to the game plan they worked on, didn't work. So what can he do? I know what he could do. I know what he should do. I don't think he'll do it, because I do think he has the beating of Usyk, but I just don't think the lesson has been learned for the changes to be made.
I was going to say, you mentioned that you would question it. Did you question if he wants it enough then? Do you think that Fury would want it enough against Usyk?
Yeah, I do. I think it'd be hard for him to get his head around it, to understand what's happened to him and accept what's happened to him. Because when you believe a certain thing, you have a certain mindset, and that's completely shattered. You're in the wilderness. He's got to be surrounded by people that know the fight game, that understand the fight game, understand the wilderness, understand when a man's head's fried, understand how to remotivate to think, come on, we can do this. How can we do this? Explain how we do this. Tell me something I don't know. He knows more than everybody he's working with. And so that's what happens there, is your development stops, because when you stop learning, or when you stop listening, or when you stop being taught things, your development stops. So what else can he change? What else can he do?
So from what you're saying there, does that come down to Sugar Hill, Andy Lee, or John Fury, if you're talking about the whole corner?
I'm talking about the whole team. I'm talking about the whole team.
The boxing side of it, I guess, of the main core side.
About the whole team. There needs to be one voice, one main voice, respected voice that says, "This is what we're doing. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me when. This is what we're doing." This is how it is. David Beckham wouldn't be David Beckham without Sir Alex Ferguson. Prince Naseem Hamed wouldn't be Prince Naseem Hamed without Brendan Ingle. You understand what I'm saying? So these are the talent, but they need the right person in their ear telling them and guiding them to get the best out of them. Why is Tyson any different? Tyson Fury needs it as well. He needs someone in his ear that guides and gets the best out of him. Because once you stop listening, you saw with Naz, once he stopped listening, he thought, I'm the bus driver, I'm the ticket inspector, I'm doing it all myself. Boom, his career. He lost fights he shouldn't have lost. What I'm saying is, if Tyson's willing to make that fundamental change, then you see a change. If he isn't, there will be no change.
Johnny, as always, it's a pleasure talking to you. I appreciate your time, and let's enjoy what else this fight week has in store. And as always, mate, keep being the king of the grass cutters, mate. As always, appreciate it, mate.